Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rounding the Bases podcast. I'm Coach Coons, along with Coach Porter, and we have Coach Zach Cart from the Blennerhassett Bear organization, uh, trying to give you some insights on recruiting and baseball and softball and transfer portals and workouts and everything else. So, Coach, we've had Zach on before. Actually, it was a great podcast before when Zach was on. So, uh, start us off. What do you want to talk about first? There's so much going on with over 5,000 baseball players in the transfer portal, softball in the transfer portal. Roster size is going to be coming down in the spring. Uh, how do kids get recruited?
What a mess. So there's a lot going on. There's the College World Series. There's the growing transfer portal every single day. And, that doesn't include high school people. And there's a lot of high school kids that are uncommitted right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of kids that have gotten in the transfer portal that aren't getting any type of communication, that aren't getting any love. So, what in the world are they going to do? So, I think that talking about that, talking about the fact there's more people in the portal than there are spots available. Um, what's going on in the travel ball scene. It's what Coach Cart's been to several travel ball tournaments so far this year. What's he hearing out on the road? What's going on with the head and account recruiting, what we're doing. So we've got all kinds of stuff going on. But the bottom line is we're trying to help kids. So we're going to brainstorm here the best way we can help kids by getting the best information possible.
And Coach Cart, I mean, you being at these travel ball tournaments, and Coach Porter, you doing your thing as well. Are you seeing many coaches there? You know, I know a lot of coaches are transfer portal, and they're going to see these collegiate summer games and things like that. But what is that? Are you seeing them at the that high school level, still looking at those kids?
I think, at least from our perspective, I've been to a lot of really 15U, 16U focused tournaments, and I haven't seen as much traffic this year as we have in the past. I know, Coach knows a lot of the numbers with the amount of players in the transfer portal, and I think that's making it, incredibly hard for a lot of high school seniors to really break through. uh, the data is way more prevalent now, and really even after watching the College World Series, the one thing that you're hearing a lot of these coaches that are at the pinnacle of baseball right now, that they're talking about high character guys.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a really good message. I've tried to take notes all the coach press conferences. I mean, they're really talking about how much they love their guys, how they're high character guys, and that's the type of player that they want. And so a lot of the things that is wrong with the travel ball world right now is being offset by a lot of the good uh, the goodwill that you're seeing with the College World Series and what's being promoted from that perspective.
And I think that's a great point. Uh, Coach Porter and I, we had the softball coach from Oklahoma that time. You know, character. What happens if they come watch one of your players who's a great hitter and they get intentionally walked four times because they are a great hitter? What are they showing that coach in addition to that? Are they showing it, from when you walk on the field, how you carry yourself, how you're warming up, how you're taking your BP? It goes right back to the classroom and everywhere in between. Am I able to hold this kid accountable? How do you act when you're walked four times and you have coaches there watching you to hit? It's all that mental thing. And Coach Porter, I mean, you have probably the same with your kids. And you got a great hitter and the game's on the line. They're going to put him on first base and go to somebody who's not quite as good, maybe. how does that kid act? Is he
Yeah.
that trustworthy, high class kid who I want in my program is not going to blow up?
Yeah, or does he make some scene like, oh, I'm somebody because they intentionally walked me and blah, 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 blah? Or are they going to get their tail down to first base and try to make something happen on the base paths and cheer on their other teammate who's hitting, right? So, but back to you. So I've had one tournament. My summer team's played about 15 games. I went to a high school series of all-star games the other day. I've seen one college coach out. I'm sorry. I've seen two college coaches out all summer.
Right.
And one of the college coaches that I saw, two of my players are signed to go to his school. And the other one is a really good friend who I see a lot, who has, he asked me about players and, what I'm seeing out there because we're seeing a lot of kids. So there's that. So I don't feel like there's as much guys. Guys are on the road. Don't get me wrong. Guys are on the road, but guys are going where their action is.
Right.
And so I had a conversation today with a parent and, I had a conversation with the parent and a player today. And this is a transfer portal kid. And I won't say where he's from or position or anything like that, but I will tell you this. The vagueness in the recruiting piece at times with this is crazy because look, if you're good, if you have a good program, you got a lot of options.
Right.
So playing this transfer game before, there's coaches who are like, I hate to use the word desperate, but there's coaches who are calling everybody and they're calling good players, and those good players have options. So they're in the dark, right? So those guys are like, well, is this person going to call me back? Well, I've played that game before where you need 5 guys, you need studs, or you've had a bad season. So you're on the other end of the line calling these people going, you're going to come in here and play. I'm going to give you this scholarship money. Well, how many other really good programs are calling them and stringing them along saying, I have, 4 spots and I'm recruiting 14 guys. We're making our decision. So the conversation I've had with more than one parent and some coaches is, if you're in a good spot, if you're in a good program, if you're LSU, right, or if you're just Joe Schmo University and you win, 35 games a year and you're doing like you're a dude at a casino and you're up big, and you don't have to show your hand, and you don't have to give any, you can be conservative till you find the right person. Back to Zach's point, that's character and all that good stuff that goes into it. So you've got a lot of panic in the portal right now. You've got a lot of silence in the portal right now. A player that we've had in the portal, day one, had like 3 schools within like an hour reach out, and then the phone line went dead. So
Right.
you've got a lot of different things going around, and this is going to elongate, if that's even the right word, the recruiting process. It's going to be longer. More kids are signing late, which back in the day, if you're an NAIA or a D2 guy, you were signing kids late anyway. If you were signing transfers, we signed some dudes in July. So that's really no different. The difference is the shuffling, and you're losing players in the portal, and kids don't know if they're coming back, and there's a lot of things going on. And then there's your high school freshmen that have no idea what to do. They just know, and these smaller schools that are enrollment driven that have high numbers are getting freshmen. But I mean, if you're a freshman and you're not signed right now, and there's 5,300 people in the portal, you're worried.
Well, I think too, I think, and you guys can add to this too. Number one, the game is more than just about skill nowadays. You know, it's about being recruitable in every way, which Coach Cart alluded to. What else can you bring to the table? And I think what else it tells you is it's never too early to start working with like our company, because the sooner you can get on a radar and get into their system and like that, it seems to be hitting hardest right now for the kids who are the juniors and the seniors who haven't got a lot of stuff yet, because you got 5,300 more kids out there that are almost like freshman players, whether they got 1, 2, or 3 years, 4 years left, that coaches are looking at. And we're not knocking the coaches at all. I mean, this is their livelihood. They got to go where they're going to get paid. Look at it to, do I want to take a chance on a high school senior? Do I want to take a chance on a second stringer from Mississippi State or LSU or wherever they're from? So that's their mentality with it. But I think the sooner you can get a kid working with somebody, getting their name out there, a high school kid, I think that's going to pay benefits nowadays, the way this is going. What do you guys think? And this is baseball and softball. I don't think there's a deviation between the two at this point. You gotta try to get that name in their books ahead of time. We've all been there. We've coached or recruited kids. If I could find a freshman or an eighth grader, I'd write their name down, and I would just start to follow them. I would watch them. I would check their stats. I would do this, do that. And then when I could call them, they were there. You do those things.
It's going to start earlier and earlier again. So, these really large high school, within the last decade, these really large high school classes that would go to Power Five. So they would sign 10, 15 guys. Those classes were already put together for 2 or 3 years, right? I think it's going to start earlier.
Go ahead, Coach Mark.
Nope,
we lost him. I think his microphone went. He'll be back.
Yep. So I'm going to pick up a little bit on what he said and kind of dovetail basically where you were, and really what I've seen this summer for the most part is, we're seeing younger players that are having higher data points. And I think where that's really important is, if we've got, the class of 2028 kids, if we're running into the class of 2028 kids, they need to have a list of things that they need to be executing against. Start looking at those schools. Let's put together a list of schools that you might be interested in. Hey, reach out to the coach. I think that it's really important that you show consistency through that process. And all of these guys come through the process and the.
I agree. I think, and I think what you could do, like you said earlier, coach these kids to their total ability. We talk about different things, okay? And I'm going to make 2 points here, following up with what you're saying. Everybody would love to play for the Vanderbilts and the Oklahomas in softball, and UCLA's in softball, and the LSU's in baseball. Coastal Carolina's a mid-major. Where are they today?
Mm-hmm.
I saw Stetson University win the league, go and romped on NC State in the first round of the Auburn region, gave Auburn everything they wanted to handle. Mm-hmm. And then, and they've got a couple kids that probably will get drafted this year.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that kids got to start doing is there's not going to be a mid-major anymore. It's going to, because everything's going to filter. Number one. Number two, you got kids that you have or whatever, and so on. Yes, coach them to skill, coach them to be successful, but mental toughness now. You hear so much about that in this World Series. You heard so much about it with baseball. She's mentally tough. She doesn't strike out. He plays. You know, there's four things. I had a coach. I wrote them down, but he talked about four things: mental toughness to win games. And number one, bad things happen. Teach your kids that, you know what, bad things. There's no coaching going on your head. We're good.
There must be a thunderstorm going through. It kicked me off. I've got some weather going on here. I'm serious. Something came through and it just kicked me
Right.
off. So I'm back.
Well, we were talking about mental toughness here. I kind of zeroed into it. You know, bad things happen. Let the hit batter, the walk, the home run, whatever it is, if you're a pitcher out there, whatever your team is, it's dead to you. It doesn't matter. It's done. Reset, refocus, and attack the next batter. Whether you're on defense, you commit the error at shortstop, or like that left fielder
Arkansas.
Yeah. You know, it happens. Did that play cost him? I don't know. Did the shortstop throw into third base instead of going for two? Did that cost? I don't know. Did the pitcher give it up? It doesn't matter. Everybody's a good player now.
100%. I mean, and coach, you know, one thing I want to pin on that a little bit, because a lot of people have focused on that particular play. A lot of people don't understand the exit velocity on that ball is 104 miles an hour.
Knuckled coming at you like this.
I mean, like incredibly difficult. I mean, and a lot of, you know, a lot of people have opinions. You know, you can get on social media and see all of it. I've personally been close to baseballs that are 95, and
Correct.
that ball is moving. And I think just people underestimate how difficult this game is. And you're talking about mental toughness, right?
Right,
you know,
right.
we like to use so what next pitch, like keep it moving. That is you know, one of the things that I've focused on here, you know, in the past year or so, and Coach and I talk about it all the time, is more of, you know, individual coaching. You know, we love the team guys. We love the dugout, right? We love our dugout guys, but individual coaching is becoming a really, really big piece of it. And a lot of it goes to the mental side, right?
Yep.
And you know, and you listen to Arkansas's, their coach's presser yesterday
Right.
evening, and he's telling, you know, he's talking about how much he loves these guys and how much, you know, that guy probably catches it 99% of the time.
That's
But
right.
the mental side is pretty significant moving forward, and it's very underestimated right now, because on the travel ball scene, there's a lot of ego. Coach Porter and I call it bro mode, and so it's really important to realize that and maintain the consistency, maintain that consistent, that you know, you surrender the outcome. You don't care what it is, but you're obsessed with the process. So that's a big piece. Did I lose you?
We're back. Okay, good. You must have a storm going through up there or something, because it just lost the connection with you guys. But you're right. The mental consistency, you know, and the other number two they said was be the one who stops the rally. You know, you watch every player on these teams, whether it's baseball or the softball World Series, hit it to me. Hit it to me. They got to run around first. Hit it to me. I'll get us out of this. And that's the mentality you want to instill. You know, and too many times it's so often that you got people Geez, I hope it doesn't come to me. Yeah, I don't want it. No, you be that person. That's that mental edge that you get. And like pitchers, you know, you want to pitch for a shutout. That's your goal. Because guess what? If they don't score, they can't win.
Mm-hmm.
So pitchers, you got to be mentally tough to ready with that, and play fearlessly. Just if you hesitate, you already lost control.
Absolutely.
It's okay to make. I used to tell my players, if you hustle, you can't be wrong. Doesn't matter. And that's where we were with that. But talk a little. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you one more point that I've been trying to relay to a lot of our really 2029s and 2028s is for the most part, there's a reason that Major League Baseball focuses on their scouting system, right? They want consistent guys seeing players all the time. And so I've kind of flipped that. And I've said, you know what college baseball coaches want to see? They want to see that consistency all the time. So you've almost got to be your own scout in figuring out ways to promote yourself.
That's right.
I think that the University of Michigan, it's either their head guy or an assistant or something has started basically within TikTok or the video channels. And he did one segment about, okay, these are the type of videos that we want to see from players.
Yes, I think it was Michigan. Yes.
Yeah. And grab onto that and look at it and say, okay, I've picked out, let's say 10 to 15 schools. I'm going to send them videos every 2 months or every quarter or something like that. And so then you're building your portfolio for yourself with these other coaches in these schools. I just think that's really important. And with social media the way it is these days, if you can build that portfolio for yourself, it's going to be really important in the future.
I agree. I'll tell you, and I'm not promoting a movie by any means, but if you've never watched Moneyball,
oh yeah,
watch Moneyball. The line that the one scenario, they say, yeah, he's only batting 140, but he gets on base, or he does this, or he does that. Consistency is what coaches are looking for. Coach, nice to have you back. I don't know.
Keep getting kicked off.
He's kind of robotic there. I don't know if he is back or not.
Am I back?
Now you're back
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm here now. So.
But I think those are key points, Zach, is the mental toughness. And if you haven't seen that video, it's the Michigan assistant coach. I watched it the other day. It was excellent.
It was.
Yeah, made a lot of sense because a lot of these companies that Coach Porter and I have, we have, are out there and they're making you pay lots of money to be a video editor, or to do this or to do that. And are they investing in you versus what they can do? See, that's why we do what we do. We invest in the athlete. We try to help baseball, softball, the athlete. Get your name out there, get it in front of people and go. We're not video editors. We're not, this, that, or the other thing. We will work to help you make the best video you can, but we will get it out there. And that's why we can keep our costs way down with our program too.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. Coach Porter's seen a lot of the video stuff that I've done with catchers. I think that it is drastically on the rise. And not only does it help us critique, but it builds a portfolio, right? I've got, I think, even with my own son, we were looking at it the other day, and within this new app that we use, I mean, he's got something crazy like 530 videos in the last 6 months.
But that's great. He's got a choice.
And it's just, yeah, yep. And so we've been working with probably 10 to 12 other guys and just building that video portfolio. Not that they'll use it right now quite yet, but if we get within that behavior and we know that, okay, we can reference that and then we can build a portfolio to send to people, I think that behavior will really benefit.
If you start it, like you're saying, while they're young, you can show a progression as they go up.
Yep,
you know?
exactly.
Coach, are you here?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Which that reminds me a lot of like these, the PBR, the Perfect Game, stuff like that. If you watch, like, for example, 2025s, maybe they went and did some sort of event, when they were freshmen in high school. And their videos are on there and you can watch their progression,
Right.
all the way through, as they improve. So that, that's important too. What's really cool is if you're really into this stuff, if you're really into player evaluation like we are, take a look at videos of MLB guys when they were in high school, because they don't always look like, and it's amazing what scouts can do as we are getting up here on the draft, because if Joey Votto's high school pre-draft video was the other day. Of course, it's Joey Votto, but does it look like Joey Votto, 5 or 6 years ago? Absolutely not.
Right.
So these evaluators can see through the hourglass and be like, this is going to be here. So that's why on scouting reports it'll say, present could be a 40, future could be, 55.
Right.
But it's really cool when we talk about progression of people. I bet you if you showed a video of a player, a current MLB player in high school, to your high school son or daughter, and we're like, do you think this guy is in the major leagues? Some of them would be like, no, there's no way. So my point is that, it's finding that one tool to build off of is one thing at the pro level. Finding somebody with all the intangibles that can actually play the game at a high level for a college coach, right, is very important. And now with some of the transfer rules, the JUCO stuff, the only playing in 30% of the season in Division II, you can get your eligibility back. I think it's 15 games.
Right.
You got a little bit of time to develop a kid. So all that stuff's really cool. Take a look at it. Build your portfolio. Let us help you. We're going to call coaches' cell phones. We're going to tell them you can play. We're going to start dialogue. We're not going to send.
It's happening. We've helped every kid that's worked with us. We've got them somewhere.
Yes.
And they're happy. I haven't seen any of their names in a portal anywhere, so that's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
And the other thing you mentioned, Perfect Game and PBR and all these great organizations. Great organizations. But take the kids in college or professional, wherever you want to go, and they'll say, oh, they were Perfect Game, had them in the top 50. Perfect Game had them this, PBR, blah, 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 blah. In 2 years, major leagues or college, the narrative changes. Oh, this guy wasn't even recognized by Perfect Game. Oh, he's a starting shortstop over here for the Seattle Mariners now, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Don't think that's your tell-all, be-all thing, because there are so many players that aren't that rated, that aren't this organization, that aren't this, that just make it because of the intangibles that we talked about earlier tonight. They're mentally tough. They do consistency, like Zach said. They're reliable. And guess what? Now they're millionaires. They weren't on anybody's list. Didn't pay the money to go to this camp or this camp. They just did it. I think that's a key thing too. But
yep.
Well, anything else? We've been long-winded here. I don't know, Zach, if we've been long-winded, or are we just waiting for Coach Porter to get back with us?
I'm telling.
Well, we're gonna have to get him back into some of these tech classes.
I think so.
Coach. Like we're gonna have to
I
get
think
him in
so.
here, right?
I will say this though, in my defense, there are very bad storms going through the Mid-Atlantic right now, and I'm telling you, you guys were both
Coach,
like
how many
frozen Megatrons there for a while, and I got back on the podcast and I could hear you guys, but I couldn't. It was bizarre. And so anyway, look, I love player evaluation. I do not profess to be a tech person. I am old school. How I hear it off the bat. Listen, the tech is great. I'm not good at it. Okay, I'm not good at it, and that includes my cell phone.
He's Clint Eastwood sitting in the stands, right?
That's right. Listen, but I will tell you this though, and I'll leave you with this last thing I'm going to say. I'm not good at tech, but I got a lot of coaches' phone numbers on my cell phone, and I can call them for you. So reach out, we'll help you.
I'm decent at tech, and I have a lot of coaches too. We can help you, believe me.
Got a lot of coaches too. Got a couple big leaguers on here too.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that they're going to help, but
they can offer advice if they want it.
Absolutely.
I'll just handle the tech.
There.
So that's what I go to. Hey, what's this mean? What's this? You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you. This evening had some kids hitting in Mr. Cart's facility and getting the hack attack to lock the wheel took every kid I was working with. Because just don't get me started. But that's not even really tech. A caveman could do it, just like the commercial.
That's right.
So, but no, seriously though, reach out to us. I got a lot of guys' numbers on here. Coach Coons has a lot of guys' numbers on there. We'll help you.
Absolutely. And Coach Cart, it's been a pleasure having you again. We'd love to have you. I mean, it's make you we're like Larry, Moe, and Curly here now. We got tech, middle tech, no tech, but we'll have you on anytime. But watch for our advertisement on Twitter or X for our next podcast, and we will see you again next week. Thanks for tuning in. AheadAndAccountRecruiting.com. Check us out.
Sounds great.